Hey,
I wish I had
Coach
muscles
Forrest.
like you, man. I wish I had big muscles, man.
Man, I wish I could just be like you.
I don't feel good. I don't feel adequate.
I just want to change myself. I want to be just like you. I want to walk like you. I want to talk like you.
I don't feel like I'm enough. Really.
Myself too, as well. I don't feel it.
Yeah. Well, I've been comparing myself a lot lately. I've been looking in the magazines and I've been watching TV and I've been, looking at the different YouTube videos. People are in shape, man. They're ready for summer.
Yeah.
I'm a fitness professional and, I don't look half as good as a lot of those guys. What should I do?
I guess, what I always do is I just compare myself to them, and I compete against them. Is that the right thing to do?
Someone once told me that comparison is the killer of all joy.
Oh, there we go.
And if we're comparing ourselves to others, to the magazines, to the person, to the neighbors,
the Joneses,
to the other person in the gym,
yeah.
that we're always going to feel inadequate. We're never going to feel like we're enough.
No matter what.
No matter what we do. No matter what we do. So, for me to get past that, what I had to do, it was a process. It was a long process. But eventually I listened and I became aware of the thoughts in my head. The thoughts from when I was a kid. When I would go and visit my family members and they would make a remark about the way my body looked. And that was the first thing. They would see me at Christmas or whatever and they'd make a remark about how I looked, and it would devastate me because subliminal in a unconscious way, it would devastate me. Because I would always be like, man, why am I not living up to their expectation?
Mm-hmm.
So as I became more aware of those thought patterns later on, I finally realized that those were just thoughts in my head, that I didn't need to compare myself. And in fact, I could be a great fitness coach, fitness professional, and a great person just by being who I am.
Right.
I don't have to be just like anybody else. And although I'm inspired by people like yourself and other people that are very muscular and that look great, I don't let that take away from me because I know I'm a special and unique snowflake.
Yeah,
it's true.
That's right.
It's true. Every one of you guys is different. Every one of you guys is special. Coach Steele, how did you come across that with yourself?
Wow, I think exactly what you said was you just dropped some wisdom on you right there. Was the being aware of your thoughts, being aware of what's going on in your mind, and being able to. It's almost like you washed your subconscious.
Yeah.
Once you're aware of it. But some people go years upon years. They go up to 90 years old and still not aware of these subconscious thoughts that are creating havoc inside of their life. For me, it's been definitely a process. And, to be truthful, I still deal with that process. I'll see different types of, people or different ways that I want to look, and I'll misconstrue it, and now instead of competing inside myself, because there's an old African proverb that says if there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do no harm. And so I have to be truthful with that, is that I sometimes I do fight with that process of, I release this amount of weight, or I've been able to do this, or I've been able to do that, but it's all been set up inside of a competition of competing against someone in a magazine or someone else in life, or this person read this many books, so I'm going to read that many books.
Or even competing against yourself in the past.
Yes.
Where you think you should be like how you used to be.
Yes.
But things are different. It's a different time.
Yes.
So why compare?
I love that.
Yeah.
And that's about ego. I think
ego.
There's another part of us that ego inside of us that was telling us that we're not enough, we're not doing enough, or we're not getting to that same point. So you may be looking around inside these results of the 21-day detox and the 6-week transformation, and we've been doing this for years, and seeing people just constantly comparing themselves against other people.
It's hard not to do sometimes.
It's so hard not to do because we were taught that.
Yes.
Even if you weren't even a sports player, you just being in school, right? Did you get an A just like Amy got the A?
Right.
Or your parents, they'll tend to do that, and so now you were
conditioned to be a certain way. Because whatever it was, society or school or your parents wanted you to get along with others and be successful, so they had to condition you. That they weren't doing anything wrong in that, but they were doing the best they could with what they had. And during that process, you became conditioned, I became conditioned, you became conditioned to compare all the time and feel inadequate unless we had this. if then. We live in an if then model of the world. If I have this, then I'll be that. You know, if I have the abs, then I'm gonna be happy.
Which is a lie.
If I have the car, then I'm gonna be happy. If I have the house, then I'm gonna be happy. Well, I got the house now, but now I need the bigger house.
Yeah.
It's never gonna be enough. So, you know, take that breath, release it, and just in this moment, just realize you're enough. You are enough. You're in perfection. No matter what you have or what you don't have, you have everything you need right here. You have this breath, you have this body, you know, whether it works or it halfway works, you have it, and it's you, and it's here and it's now, and you don't need to compare anymore. You could let that go. It is a process, and Anthony and I are still working on it, but it starts with an awareness in your mind. Write it out in your journal, become more aware of your thoughts, and start to seek a truer way of looking at yourself, which is that you are in perfection right now.
And Coach, they really brought up a great point in closing, is that you are enough.
So
I always think of like life as far as, I don't know, I always think about sports figures or trainings or Olympics and how they do it, because they're the top at what they do, and it takes a strong mindset to be able to do that.
For sure.
And what you do notice, right, if you see any of these UFC guys or tennis players or skiers or anyone that's going up against someone else, right, they always say, I'm not concerned about them.
Right.
I'm training inside myself. And I know
right.
if I bring my best self out there, then I will do the best that I can, and I'll end up getting the win.
Yes.
And isn't that so true? So when you come out of that, you know, when we come out of that, what you were saying is, if you just be yourself and be okay with who you are right now, then everything else great comes out of that.
Yes.
So if you can stay in that mindset, but if you start comparing, you compare that six-pack to, you know, I'm gonna have that six-pack or this muscle, or this house to this house. You start doing that, you may attain those things, but you'll never be quite happy. You'll always be looking in the past or the future or the, right?
You'll always feel inadequate. You'll never be enough.
Wow.
All right?
Man.
Do you want to never be enough, or do you want to be enough?
Right now. That's
right
what I
here.
want.
Make that decision.
That's what I want.
Steal.
Man, great work.
Nice work.
Great work.
Way of life.
Way of life, baby.
Boom.
Boom. That's beautiful.
That's a great one.